Hi everyone, and welcome to a very special Q&A video regarding the PlayStation 5. I put out a video the other day going over how to transfer save data between the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5. And you guys really liked that video and had lots of questions, so I decided that it'd be a good idea to put out a Q&A video. We can try to answer as many questions as you guys have. So we picked out the best ones in the comments of that video and between Twitter and everywhere else that the question or for the Q&A post was made. So I'm joined with Richard tonight, and we are going to run through some questions that you guys had about the PlayStation 5. So, Richard, before we get in, just to give everyone an update, how is everything going with playing on your PS5?
It's fantastic. I actually have my external hard drive from my PS4 connected to it now. So some of those questions that I had about usability and what happens if they offer the free PS5 upgrade, I got more input on how that works and how that looks. So yeah, it's coming into its own at this point. It's if you kept your PS4 and you got the new PS5, unless you're just going to use it in another room, I don't see much functionality on keeping the PS4 hooked up, really. So PS5 is kind of becoming all-in-one.
It might be time to get ready to retire the PlayStation 4 for good if you're keeping it. But
Right, yeah.
all right. So let's go ahead and jump into these questions, starting with the first one from Harsh Goal on YouTube. Can we transfer PS5 titles to the external drives only for storage purposes and transfer again to the internal storage when we want to play them?
The answer to that is no. Cannot transfer PS5 titles over to external storage, at least not at this time.
Yeah.
There's no option to do that.
All right. To kind of add to that, they kind of hinted that may come in another update around the same time that the using the external M.2 SSDs becomes available. But we'll see about that. All right. Next one. Soviet Kim 77 asks, can you play the games from your PS4 external storage on the PS5 without moving them from the external storage into the PS5?
Yes, you can. As soon as you connect your external drive, it'll automatically, I don't know if it puts tags on the system or what, but when you go through your game library, it will be listed as installed, and it plays directly from the external. So, and as far as load time goes, it feels about the same as it does on the PS4. So there's no up benefit or down benefit there. So, yeah, it plays directly from the external.
All right, and that kind of answered Gobliny's question. Is I'm guessing PS4 games on the hard drive aren't going to benefit from faster load times.
No, they do not. Unless, now if you transfer them over, but I guess he's asking on the HDD. So no, not unless you transfer them over.
Yeah. You can, if you're able to get one, and we'll talk more about this later on in this video. If you were using an external SSD that they sell, I think Seagate makes one, you will notice a faster load time on using those than using like a mechanical hard drive. But for the as far as the external sources go, the regular mechanical hard drives are going to have about the same loading speeds as like a PS4 hard drive would for like the external SSD that uses USB for connection. It's going to be a little bit faster, but not by much. But all right. J Money asks, so when I do this, when I plug in the hard drive to my PS5 with the PS4 games I have on it, automatically be upgraded to the PS5 version?
Negative. Now I don't, I said that my tell was going to be the Doom Eternal, and then they didn't put out that the up conversion. However, No Man's Sky did. So interestingly enough, and I just did this, and I'm glad that I just did this because it's going to answer the guy's question. I have No Man's Sky installed on my external that's connected, but when I went to play it, it would not let me play it from my hard drive. I had to copy it over to my PS5 drive and it did go ahead and take the PS5 upgrade. So, at least from my experience with this one specific game, No Man's Sky, it would not allow me to play it on the PS5 from my external. It forced me to copy it over to my PS5 and take that update.
Now, we were talking about that article earlier about how Black Ops Cold War, it's by default the game is booting the PS4 version, even if you have the PS5 version installed. So with No Man's Sky, is it doing the same thing, or is that just Call of Duty that's doing that?
I don't have Call of Duty, so I can't speak on that. I did read that article, so I know what that is. But, typically when you go to like a game screen, you've got a little tab that it'll either say details or it'll say purchase or it'll say play. When I tried to go into No Man's Sky, it popped up a little white button that said copy. That was my only option.
Okay.
So as soon as I hit that, it went ahead and it copied the files over to the PS5's SSD and then downloaded the upgrade. So from the viewpoint of No Man's Sky, it did not give me an option to play it from the external. It forced me to go ahead and put it over. That may differ from game to game, and it still wasn't an automatic thing, not technically. So I guess the answer to the guy's question is no, it doesn't automatically upgrade to the PS5 version. It may put you in a position where you have to download it, or from the Call of Duty article, you have to pay attention to make sure you're downloading the correct one. So
yeah. All right, next question is from Brent Wiley. If I want the PlayStation 4 game on both my PS4 and my PS5 external storage, do I have to re-download it on my PS4? Is there any way to copy it onto the external drive while retaining the copy on the PS4?
We even talked about this question before we began, and now I feel like it's even more confusing than the first time. I guess what's throwing me off is the PS5 extended storage. That would be the hard disk.
Talking about plugging the external hard drive into the back of the PS5. So, say for instance, we'll use what's a game that's not a PS5 exclusive? Well, okay, The Last of Us Part 2. We'll use that one.
Okay.
The game's on PS4. You move it to your external hard drive connected to your PS4. You take the external hard drive, you plug it into the PlayStation 5. So it's showing up as a PS4 game that's connected to your PS5. So when you do that particular thing on the PlayStation 4 side of this, it gets moved to the external drive. And so if you unplug that, the game's not going to show up. So you would have to re-download it.
Yes, yeah. Unless you plug the external back into your PS4.
Yeah, correct. Now, if you plug it back in, I think it's going to run into that problem you were talking about with Genshin Impact.
Yeah, now I'll go ahead and disclose that. When I first got my PS5, I didn't connect my external from my PlayStation 4 until like a day or so later. So I've been playing Genshin Impact, so I went ahead and just downloaded it to my PS5 anyway. And it was also on my PS4 external. So when I actually connected my external to my PS5, the console noticed that it was installed in two different locations, and it did have me delete one to proceed. So the PS5 does not like seeing the same game in two different locations. So
yeah, so hopefully with that, as long as if you say, again, we'll use The Last of Us, if you put that game on the external hard drive and plug it in your PS5, you should be able to re-download the game to your PS4. But if you were to take that external drive and plug it back into your PS4, you're going to have to delete it either off of your internal hard drive or off the external.
Yeah.
Should be the best way to answer that. All right. We kind of talked about this one earlier, but Harvey Bedford asks if I were to use an SSD instead of the hard drive on my PS5, would that change how the performance is, or am I better off getting a hard drive?
Yeah, at the present time, I don't think the PS5 supports an external SSD.
Except for like the USB 3.0 version of an SSD, not like it supports those as long as it's over USB, but the one that's built into the system to use that M.2 SSD is not currently supported.
Okay, I don't
Okay.
think you can, and you wouldn't be able to install PS5 games to that either.
That's true.
I
That is
wouldn't think.
true.
Yeah, yeah. So I don't. I mean, if you're asking the question like today, I would say probably not. I mean, you are going to have faster load times, but it's still going to be based on PS4 titles, not PS5. So it's not going to benefit you that way. A year from now, I don't know. It might be a different answer. But if you're asking today, then I would probably just go ahead and get the HDD because you're going to get a lot more space for less money than you would buying an SSD, and the benefits is probably not going to justify the cost. At least
Yeah.
not today.
Yeah, if we're depending on how you want to look at it, like if we're talking about the USB SSDs, like Richard's saying, you can't put PS5 games on those anyway. You will get faster speeds out of those, but comparable in price, like what he's saying, like you could spend $85 roughly, maybe 100, and get like a 4 terabyte mechanical hard drive. But if you were to spend $100 on an SSD, you're looking at like 500 gigabytes.
Yeah.
And that value even drops down more whenever you start looking at the M.2 SSDs, which will be available. There are already some that are trickling out that are they're compatible with PS5. I know Western Digital and Samsung have one available, but like the 500 gig versions of those SSDs are $179. So you're going to end up spending a pretty penny on the M.2 version. But if you're just trying to store your PS4 games on an external drive, get the mechanical hard drive with the more storage. You'll get way more bang for your buck out of it. Let's see. This is from the Insert Franchise guy. Says searching for this good video, straight to the point. Love it. Just one question. If a PS4 game on my hard drive has the option for a free PS5 upgrade and I upgrade it, does it stay on the hard drive or do I have to move it to the internal SSD on the PS5?
From my experience, it has to be moved over to the internal SSD on the PS5.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure any game that gets a PS5 upgrade has to be kept on the.
It's got to be on the SSD.
All right, this one is from PR4I. He says, "I have a question. My account got suspended 3 times. If I put my account on the PS5, will my account not have those suspensions noted?"
And what are you doing to get suspended 3 times? The first answer to the question is cool it. All right. And then like the second answer is that no, your account is not going to vary from system to system. You're going to have those suspensions that's going to follow you over if you use the same account. Now, if you get a new email and you create a new account and you go that route, of course, it's not going to do it that way. But, if you're planning on transferring the account with the suspensions on it, then yes, those suspensions will follow you along with that count.
And unlike a bad driving record, they do not fall off after 7 years.
No, not at all.
All right, I'm gonna read this question, and I think I've got the answer for this one as well. So this is from Dylan T. I'm just gonna say Dylan. I don't know how to say the last name. Question: if I download Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War onto my PS4, which has an external hard drive plugged into it, will it transfer to the PS5? This is a very muddy answer to this question because there's several different ways to answer it. If you purchased Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War for PS4, regardless of which edition, except for the cross-gen bundle, you own only the PS4 version of the game. So if you were to put that on an external hard drive, put in the PS5, you would be playing the PS4 backwards compatible version of Cold War. However, if you buy the cross-gen version, which gives you access to the PS4 and the PS5 version, once you put that on the external SSD or hard drive and plug it in, you try to launch it. It's going to do like Richard was saying, where it's going to, well, we don't know, but it should give you that prompt to move the game to the internal SSD because the PS5 game cannot run on the external hard drive. But also to a point we were talking about earlier, the PS5 defaults Black Ops Cold War to the PS4 version. You will have to highlight the game on the main menu and hit the options tab and actually you can set the PS5 version as the default version of the game, because once it moves Call of Duty over from the the external hard drive to the internal hard drive, it's going to download the PS5 updates to the game. So you will have to make sure you're launching the correct version of it. This next one is from Likes Royalith. Is it possible to transfer cross-gen games like Spider-Man, Miles Morales, and Black Ops Cold War? So we'll focus on Spider-Man since we just did Call of Duty. So if you say, for instance, with this one, say you have Spider-Man on PS4 and you transfer it to PS5, what happens?
I think those get the free upgrade. The only thing that I'm thinking of now is, the save file issue that Insomniac talked about had to do with the original release of Spider-Man, I believe.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure with Miles Morales,
your save file would be safe.
Your save data is okay, and I'm pretty sure once you move the game over, I think all you have to do is just, if you're using an external hard drive, as long as the game's on there, it's gonna do like we're talking about No Man's Sky and COD, where it should prompt you to install it onto the internal, which to save you a couple of steps, if you have purchased a physical copy of Spider-Man, I would just go ahead and just put the disc in the PS5 and just let it download its stuff anyway, because it's going to have to do that. It might save you a couple of steps of having to wait for it to transfer from the PS4's internal hard drive to the external and then to the PS5 internal hard drive. Save you a couple of steps by just popping the disc in if you got it. Yeah, if you have the digital version, you can just put it in the pop it in the system, and then it'll have to re-download the game anyway, or you can just download it from the PlayStation shop. And finally, from Hendrix Gaming, I'm on my PS5 now, but I can't figure out why the PS5 is not in 4K like it was on my PS4 Pro. I have a Sony 4K HDR TV.
So if you go into settings and then you go to screen and video, you're going to see a couple of options. You're going to have resolution, 4K video transfer rate, HDR options. Those should all be set to automatic. Now you can go into each one of those and you can play around with them. And, for instance, your resolution, you can set that to automatic, or you can set it to 720, 1080i, 1080p, or 260p. But all those, if they're automatic, it should work out. So I don't know necessarily if it's a console issue. You might want to look at the TV itself. You're probably going to have multiple HDMI ports, and it's important to remember that not all HDMI ports are created equally. Some of them will transfer at higher speeds. So if you have that Pro plugged into an HDMI port that has a higher speed, and then your PS5 is not plugged into one of those, that could be your error there. It also could be the cable you're using. Got to make sure the HDMI cable can support it. There could be a couple of reasons why you're not seeing that kind of quality that aren't console related. So I would definitely go into settings, make sure that your video output settings are all set to automatic. And if they are, I would start looking at the ports on the television itself or the cable, the HDMI cable that you've used.
Yeah, I would definitely recommend using the HDMI cable that came with the PS5. I know some people probably would find it easier just to unplug another system and just use the same HDMI cable. That may be something to look into. And also check the settings on the TV itself. Most TVs have specific modes in there. And I would check for like a game mode or something that may have some issues. I know I can't speak to the resolution bit, but my friend, he put his PS4 Pro in his living room TV, which is like a 65-inch TV, and it was set in like movie mode, and movie mode has a lower refresh rate on the TV than the game mode does. So once we flipped the game over to game mode, it was able to run much more smooth than it was when it was in like movie mode or something. So it could be one of those like preset things like that. Like Richard said, it could be like the ports on the TV or the cable. Lots of things to check.
Wait, hold on. Can I need to make an addendum to one of those questions about will it automatically? It's something I've just noticed right now on No Man's Sky.
Okay.
So, all right. For those of you that have the PS5 and you're familiar with like the menu bar that's across the top of the screen now. All right, on my No Man's Sky, I don't know why it made me copy it over, but it's still the PS4 version. It says No Man's Sky PS4. Now, my option at the bottom does not say copy anymore. It says play, because I've already had to copy it over. I haven't had to do this for any other titles, so that's what threw me off. But if I play this, I'm playing the PS4 version. Now, right beside that, you're going to have a separate button that's got the 3 little dots. If you go under that and then you choose View Product, it'll take you to the store page. At the store page, there is an option for the free PS5 upgrade.
Okay.
So I'm going to have to download that. And then I get another one. Now, I didn't have the digital. I do have the disc. So this is what I'm looking at right now. It says, be sure to keep your PS4 game disc. It entitles you to this PS5 upgrade offer, and you'll need to insert it whenever you want to play this PS5 version of the game. So, and then it takes me to an actual screen where I have a cart. It's not charging me anything because it is a free upgrade, but it does look like a purchase. I confirm the purchase, and it starts a PS5 version download. So yeah, it's not as simple as that. Then you gotta, if you don't actually go in and choose that option to, I don't even know what and I know the 3 dots are called an ellipses in English, but I don't know what they'd be referred to as in this setup. But I guess additional options, I'll call it the additional options button. It's the 3 little buttons. So you have to choose that, and then you have to, I think it should be more simpler. I'm actually kind of put off by this. You have to do that. You have to choose to view product to go to the store page. The store page will have the link where you can download the PS5 upgrade version. And then, yes, it will install onto the PS5 SSD. It will not go onto the external. And yeah, that's what you have to do to actually get the PS5 free upgraded version of these games. Or at least with No Man's Sky, which I don't know why it would be different for any other title. So,
okay. So I wonder if the way that Sony has this worked out is that specific titles that they have it like set to where, like in the software side, where if it recognizes that game, it automatically moves it over, assuming that you're going to be getting that free upgrade, but also not assuming that you want to download it immediately. I guess.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It's kind of, and I'm not big to criticize Sony, but I'll say this too, and this is actually off topic, but the store, that's now a part of the menu, I really like that. I like how it's fully incorporated into it, but I don't like how it's broken down anymore. It's not categorized like it was on the PS5 store. Like everybody knows that typically they have weekly deals that hit on Tuesday. There's no deal section tab of the PS5 menu. So there's no way to look at any of that stuff. And I mean, maybe it's more geared toward the PS5 titles, which, there's probably not going to be any type of deals like that now. But yeah, there's no way to view just deal categorized titles anymore on the PS5. And I mean, that's, like I said, maybe that's something they'll fix in the future, but as of right now, you can still see them. Like if you specifically know that, hey, this game is on special right now and you plug it in, it will give you that discounted price, but there's no way to just look at like a categorized section of deals.
Gotcha. All right. Well, that is going to wrap it up for our PS5 Q&A video. Richard, thank you so much for joining me with this. And if you have any more questions about PS5, leave them in the comments down below. And if we get enough of them, we may make a follow-up to this. Everyone who submitted a question that we answered, I hope that our answers were what you were looking for. If not, just let us know. We keep working on trying to find solutions for you. And yeah, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you.
This special cast was brought to you by Cat Buttholes. They have hickory smoked barbecue, spicy cheddar, and Nashville hot, and they're donated locally by I Can't Poop Right Meow. Thank you.
He's been sitting in there
Nashville
on mute.
hot.
He's been sitting there on mute this whole time, waiting for that to happen. Oh man.